And we can see the question what people are posting there, or
Yeah,
this
in
will
the
only come
chat
to
box,
you.
sir. In the chat box also, and I'll take a few questions also. So from my and my team also will put up some questions, so that will take up, sir. Also, they can raise the hand, so they can directly talk by
Yeah,
unmute.
because we cannot see. We can see only the panelists here. Only 6 people we can see here who are joined.
Yeah, yeah.
But we
So
can see.
the chat box, sir, you will get the questions, so that we will be visible, sir. Once it is put everyone, so will
Huh?
visible. Yeah,
Okay,
it will be visible to you,
lovely.
sir.
Even you can see all the attendees, sir. Once you click view all, you can view all the people also, and also chart also you can see all the things here.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So yeah,
Yeah, there's
yes, I
73
think
already, huh? Oh, 74.
yes.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So we can go now, sir. We can start. Anupam, please start with the webinar.
Yeah, thank you, Amit. So, good morning, one and all, and I welcome everyone to the 155th webinar of the Saturday webinar series. I am Anupam Anand, a fellow working at Manage Hyderabad. The Center for Innovation and Agripreneurship, CIA, is a center of excellence in agribusiness incubation, hosted at the National Institute of Agriculture Extension Management, Manage Hyderabad. It is one of the leading agribusiness incubators in India. Manage CIA has mentored 550 entrepreneurs and incubated more than 383 startups from various focus areas of the agri and allied sectors. Having trained startups in agro-processing, post-harvest technologies, value addition, farm mechanization, animal husbandry, fisheries, dairy, commodity trading, supply chain management, and agri consultancy, the center has assisted and provided relentless support to agripreneurs, helping them fine-tune their ideas and upscale their operation. The topic for today's session is innovative food processing technologies for agri startups exploring cutting-edge technologies. Incorporating cutting-edge food processing technologies can help agri startups produce unique, high quality, and sustainable food products, gaining a competitive edge in the market while addressing evolving consumer preferences and global sustainability challenges. We have two speakers joining us today, Mr. Ritesh Mathur
Hi,
and
good morning,
Dr.
sir.
Nilesh Amritkar, sir. So, to introduce our first speaker, Mr. Ritesh Mathur, sir, is the founder F2F Food and Beverage Consultants and has 24 plus years of experience in R&D, new product development, setting of R&D centers, food safety, regulation, sensory, consumer panels, product launches, and quality assurance in the food industry. Having patents and publications on his name, he has worked at leadership role and led the R&D for reputed companies like McDonald's, Danone, General Mills, Godfrey Phillips, and Raptor Cosbret. He has also guided more than a research student at different food science and technology colleges across India. Mr. Ritesh is alumni of ICT, formerly known as UDCT Mumbai and MIMS. Is also honorary secretary for AFST, Association of Food Science and Technology, Mumbai chapter. With this brief introduction, I'd like to hand over the stage to you. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. First of all, I want to my sincere gratitude for giving opportunity to speak, sir. So Dr. Sarvana, Anupam ji, Amit ji, and entire managed team for giving me chance to speak. Whatever you understand, our 2 cents in the food industry, we'll love to share with the people. And it's a very open forum. So honestly, any questions you have, please feel free to ask me. If you don't get a chance to ask in today's session, I will share my coordinates. So you can actually ask me whenever you can message me, mail me, WhatsApp me, whatever convenient. We are there to support. This is what we all love, we all believe in sharing knowledge, and we all win together. That's what Modi always say. Modi's always say, "Na, sabke saath sabka vikas." So we all will win together. No one can win alone. We always believe in that philosophy. So I will just share what we're gonna cover today. So next slide, sir, please. We'll talk about some basics about the fruits and vegetables, because this I understand agri was the first thing was coming to mind was food and vegetables. So we'll understand those. We'll try to understand the minimal process, and we try to understand much more process, ready to eat and ready to cook product. Then how the small scale industry are set up. We talk about dairy, because dairy and the FNV all both work together at a farmer level, agri level, and we touch base on a bakery. Just very quickly, we touch base on that. We just have like 20 to 25 minutes in hand. So we just try to cover these things and do justification on these topics. So just to share, yes, next slide. Well, just to share like whom we are, so and why we say we can say this. So as he was mentioning about us, we fundamentally understand the product development. This is we understand development. We understand the food science basics of it. So we support these startups. All folks like most folks like you, we support them right from an ideation session with them till the product go to the market. Right, the entire NPD cycle is what we cover them. So like getting a validation. Okay, anyone want to make a product, is it good or bad? His idea is good. Can this work in India? Can it work in US? Can it work in India too? Like those we discuss on the ideation, and then we start formulation, lab trials, then getting a proof of concept, getting this proof of concept from lab to pilot, pilot to commercial, and doing all the nutrition, shelf life for the product. Of course, with the help of Nilesh and his team, we go with the all lab analysis for that product, and then we do all the contract manufacturing or whatever, setting their own manufacturing unit. We do all those. So entire right from an ideation till it go to the market, till the GTM, we try to support them. This is what fundamentally we do. We can go on next slide. I'm just putting one like maybe a quick sense on this. We can go on next slide, no worry. So this is what fundamentally what we do. So we talk about NPD, we talk about the development, and that's the reason I want to share more of these things in today's session, how our experience are for these products. So we'll go to next slide, sir. I don't want to talk much about me. I want to talk about the next. Yeah, so let's talk about something minimally processed food. Now, this is something really picked up. So we all stays, at least we stays in Mumbai, so we know how the busy lifestyle and the people and how people want, like, so we always see, even not even Mumbai, if we go to like small towns, so you can always see we can getting a fresh garlic pulp, or we getting some clean vegetables. No, even sprouted grains, no sprouted like millets, or all things we see in the market. Something which is very minimally processed, just steamed, peeled, something which is like clean, washed, sprouted, those comes under definition of minimally processed product. So yeah, so to go next. So what happened and why this is really important? Yeah, so anything which is like, so any process, partially processed, cut, ready to cook, something, all these, go on next. So these all are the of minimally processed. Why is it important? Because consumer are asking for it. So I'm just sharing this because I mean, everybody knows this, but just to ensure why this is important, why this could be a good business, because people are looking for these products. So, and these are widely available. And if you're an agri processor and you are at farm level, we can grow some vegetables, something if you can clean and give to the customer nicely packed, then of course the consumption can increase and suddenly you can get a more value addition. If you take a normal millet, which is like or normal, say, and simple matki like the sprouts, could be a X cost, but the moment you sprout it and sell to the market, the cost really become substantially high and you get more value addition here. So the amount of energy, amount of the amount you put here is very less, but the value you would get from the customer is certainly go high. So this is a good idea where we can, at very, very minimal level, we can do some value addition and we can earn better profits. So next slide. Yeah. So what really involved for minimally processing food? Nothing great, no rocket science. We just do the cleaning, we do the washing. No, we just do the trimming, we remove excess things from there, right? And what happened? Like we just go back, sir, the previous slide. We do the coring, we remove all the say any seeds and any of the stone, anything, we remove those, right? We slice, we shed, depend what we need to do. If it's lettuce, we do a shedding. If some other product, we just do the cutting. So all we do, and then so on, we follow the process. So next slide. Yeah. So what happened what is the challenge here? So I want to like ensure we talk about both the things, or good and bad. The challenge really happened because we expose the product now. You expose the fruit. It was intact. Now you're exposing out. So shelf life actually comes down. So you need to have a very good supply chain here to ensure whatever you do it today, you have a forecasting and you can supply to the people, because the shelf life reduces, right? And any product, an entire fruit can be kept for maybe a week or more than that, but the moment you peel it, the shelf life gonna reduce, right? Or you need to have a different storage conditions for it. So you need to maintain at the refrigeration condition or a frozen condition, or even ambient with the low shelf life, right? So these are challenges, but if you have a good supply chain distribution network, we can certainly overcome this. Yeah. Next slide, sir. Right, these are some formats. I'm sure most of you might have seen this in your nearby grocery shop or nearby supermarket. Not only going to the modern trade, but normal supermarket can also see this product. A good idea to start something like this. So next. Yeah. So what happened when we do this minimally processing? The way happen, if you're at farm level, if you're really at the farm, then of course after harvesting, receiving, you can do the pre-cooling, you can do the washing, we can do some disinfectant for cleaning the any mud or anything from that. The peeling, cutting, all the sorting can happen. Sometimes we can do some dipping. We can ensure some antimicrobial can be there, or some anti-browning can be there, so the product doesn't get brown or doesn't get changed, or texture can be preserved. These all are the food safe thing which can be used. There are ingredients available here, which are part of minimal processing. We can again dry it, label, and store it. Being a natural commodity product, this doesn't have like too much on regulation on FSSAI per se, because you're selling a fresh cut food vegetables. Next slide, sir. Yeah. So if you look at very like and if you're a processor, what are you gonna do? So you take a fruit, you wash it, you sanitize it, you peel it, right? You ensure there is no browning, so there's no oxygen coming in picture. So you shrink it. No, you slice it. If you want to slice it, you can slice it, right? You can store depending how the product need to be stored. This can go in a cold chain, like a 4 to 8 degree, right? And you can just distribute to the nearest modern trade. This can be happen, right? No more the next slide, sir. No more big things required. Simple like a cutting table like this thing can really work in our things. Yeah, next slide. So these are some basic things the equipment required, and this can be basically designed the way you want. So right from a weighing machine to conveyor, if the production is more. Some sorting can be done manually, can be done by the sortex machine. Depending how much volume you want to generate, you can have those machines with you. If you don't have any simple machines, you want to start from a tabletop, you can actually start from a tabletop machine with 2 or 3 good people, and you can actually start working on it, right? And if you want to go very big volume, we can actually go on sorting machine to remove the unwanted peels or the brown portions, right? We can remove the moisture level, or reduce the moisture level. We have metal detectors. All those possible when the volumes are very high. So good to start and easy to scale up. That's what I really mean. Next slide, sir. Yeah, these are basic equipment required. Most of the kitchen or most of the people are must be having it to remove, say, any of the eye on it, or any of the removing of the core or the stone. Cutting. All those things are possible, and all these are available easily in the market. So next. So again, these are packed. The whole idea here packing is we can have a very fancy pack. The whole idea, we can remove the moisture from there. We can reduce the air as far as possible from there. So when it's a moisture, the residue water from the product, the air can be reduced. Or I'm not saying we go for nitrogen packing or MAP packaging, but still we can minimize the oxygen from the packaging. So shelf life enhances, and we can pack in this fancy trays, whatever possible. Next, sir. Yeah. So this is very interesting one. If you go on a bigger scale, we can have this conveyor. We can do all the processing can happen in this belt. Depend what level of work you're doing it. So next. So if you work, suppose you take in lettuce. Now this is an example of lettuce here, which is widely used in most of the quick QSRs like McDonald's, like Danone, McDonald's, Burger King, or any other big companies. So they're using this lettuce in their the sandwiches. They're using it. So like lettuce is grown in very cold region. So we need to have those in particular format, and need to be cut and processed, and should have like a kept in refrigeration for like for 3 to 4 days. Otherwise the wilting happens. So this is the processing of the lettuce. Pretty good industry. Like most of the lettuce, at least in India, which we are aware, goes in Himachal, goes in Lonavala here near Mumbai, or goes in south near Ooty and other places. So they can actually they can be cut, processed, cleaned, and then they sorted, and then can be given in a cut size to most of these restaurants. So I'm talking about the QSR, but even other restaurants also use lettuce in their formulation or in their product recipe. So they can be processed like this way. Very good volume. Like if you're looking at this business, very lucrative business, you can certainly look at this option. So next slide. Yeah. So this is what happened when we take the lettuce. Like it's actually we just chopped it, cut it, we washed it. Right after washing, we actually slice it the way it need to be sliced. Next up, they're simple machine, look very complex, but they're a really simple machine, and the size can be anything what we want, right? From like a few kilos to we can have like a few tons. We can do it. So what happened when we do all this washing? There a lot of moisture remain on the lettuce or similar product. So what we do, we centrifuge it. Right? By doing centrifuge, we remove excess moisture, excess water from the product can release out, and the product become dry, sort of. Not technically dry, but the excess moisture can remove. Next, sir. So the centrifugal, this is the reason centrifugal dryers are used to remove the moisture, which are part of this entire process. So next. Yeah. So again, we can fill this the lettuce or equivalent vegetables, cut vegetables. Either we can have the multi-head weighers, like we use this one, like with a 14 head or 18 head, or even 4 head can be used maybe to start with, where we can actually have the right filling, like 100 gram, 200 gram, 150 gram, whatever. We can do that, or we can even have FFS machine, which could be very simple in size, but there could be a variation in the quantity, but both can be used. Again, very simple machine. The FFS Machine can start right from like 1.5 to 2 lakhs and go up to whatever speed we want. So good to start this business. So next slide. Sorry. Yeah, this is just next. You can, I'm sure you see this in the market. Just this one how this is be placed at. Okay, so what I'm doing now, I'm taking a different direction to you. So what we see minimally processed, perhaps most of you perhaps have know about this product. Now from the minimally processed, I'm going to more heavy process. So something we call as ready to eat or ready to cook product, or we call instant product. So we'll go on those formats, how these are done. Okay, next slide, sir. Yeah, so very basic. We all know what are ready to eat or ready to cook. So anything you see like in the market which can eat directly, or which can be kept in frozen, chilled, or which is like a process where you just need 2 minutes of the cooking at your home. So if you look at entire thing of the say all the business of French fries or the peas or the corn which are in frozen, right, or ready-made products, could be a sweet. That could be a rasmalai, could be sweet of those things are part of the ready to cook or ready to eat. Even the noodle business will be part of ready to cook product because they just need 2 minutes of the cooking. Right? So this is a big thing, big industry really happening, which is like offshoot of the fruit and vegetables or of the basic industry. But for minimally processed, we are going on heavy processing. Right? So yeah, next slide, sir. So it's a big volume, big thing. We have big diaspora, Indian diaspora everywhere, and everybody love the Indian food. Everybody who's from India really connect to India with the food and the music. We always seen it. So we are talking about food. We leave the music. But they all want a good food. Or people who travel from India to abroad, they also carry food with them. Students carry food with them. So this is gonna be a big market. And of course, the Indian diaspora in US, Europe, wherever they are, they look for Indian food there. Right, and so all these industries is really catching up. Or even the idea better who's selling the better or any such companies are part of the ready to go, ready to eat, ready to cook format. Right. So big industry. I'm not going on numbers, but only want to share is a lucrative. Is a big business. Right. Like if you get a single, there's some pie on it. Is a good business to have in. So next. Yeah. So if you look at very broadly, like of course, 40% of the entire this category is come from the from all this the aloo tikki or all other burger patty or the French fries, which you see in frozen is done by that. Still 25% come from the fresh fruits. Right. Still the green peas is a major chunk out of it. We even see broccoli these days and sweet corn, many other things we can found this category. And of course, there's a whole range of non-veg, which also possible. This can be grown in farm and then be processed like that. Yeah. Go to next, sir. Yeah. So if you look at this category and further divide how we divide this classification, how this can be having something like a breakfast cereal, like an instant poha, instant upma, what you can Indigo Airlines these days or whatever airlines, we can see this. We can see this some variety products like an oat ka upma, oats idli, or any other millet idli. Why only oats? So any millet idli or khaman and their premixes, no, or prepared and serve. Or some when you look at a main course, something which come in retorted formats like a dal makhani or paneer or whatever, all those comes which is come in a with the tasty bites in a pouches or in a tray. You know, all those are part of ready to eat products, right? And of course, then we have a premixes range here, which all have like classical MTR style things, which we mentioned like gulab jamun mix, khaman mix, dhokla mix, kulfi mix. All those are part of the sweet mixes. They all form comes under ready to eat or ready to cook format category. Even like noodles will be big category here. We go on next, sir. Yeah, so some more example, we can see it. So next slide. Yeah, so these are some example. You can just quick, you can run around, sir. Just sharing an example what I'm referring to you in case I'm not able to explain. So this entire thing where you just add hot water, keep for 5 minutes, and your product is ready. So this again, next. This again the condition is again a product which is growing these days. Right, could be a biryani, could be a non-veg things, or could be some lasagna, could be baked paratha, or all are a part of this. Right. So these are some mixed. These are all heavy process. When I say heavy process, we were talking about minimally process, and this is the next level of the heavy process. So I'm just taking two different extremes here. See, one thing is there very fundamental. You know, we haven't have to make the product the same way, same cooked where we do it at home. The only thing whether you are doing it or the industry doing it. Okay, so here the industry is doing it. So when you put a factory or when you work, you are doing at this end. So and then maybe you're cooking in a packing in a tin containers like this. Birla's company Morton is doing it, or or any other formats you take in a pouch, but you are doing all the cooking here. Right? So yeah, next. So momos are available these days, frozen. So just next, sir, next. We'll go next. We have less time. I want to speak more on this. Yeah. So next. So all these are example, just showing pictures to realize. So this again, like this is a good business here for the exports. So India do a lot of exports to US, to entire Middle East, to Canada, to Sri Lanka, whatever, Australia. A lot of people, Indian diaspora are there. These are people are consumed there, and of course people travel and they carry with you. So next. Yeah. So there's the opportunity here, which I was referring to here. Because of the change in forex rate, because of the India's global presence now, the G20 presence, this industry will be going up with sunrise industry for sure. Right? So yeah, next. So let's see if you want to set up this line, something, what we're gonna do here now. So next. So when you start, suppose tomorrow you think, okay, we want to make anything of these products. I'm maybe instant poha to say a noodle or something of those sort. Noodle may be a little more complex because they are extruded. But if you look at very simple product, premix type product, what we need? So making a simple premix product like a dosa mix or idli mix or khaman mix. So you need a weighing balance, right? You can get any weighing balance. You need a sifter. You need to sieve the powders here. Very cost-effective machines. Can actually do manually, but manual become very cumbersome. Then you need some mixers like a double cone or a ribbon blender or any of the blender mixers can be used. But double cone are better, easy to use, easy to clean. So we use double cone blenders. Then you weighing machine and then you packing machine. So very simple. Like right from 3 to 4 lakhs something, 5 lakh rupees, you can start something like a dry mixing products. So next slide. Now, as the complexity increases from a powder mixing to other things, suppose you make a retort products. Now, where you make something like a dal makhani, which come in a retort format or a paneer retort format, then little complexity increases. Now, as you're doing the cooking at home in your kadhai or whatever, the cooker, whatever, we have industrial level cookers, right? This can be like again heated with the steam or it can be with the oil. We can use this industrial level kettles. We can be used for cooking. We can have some online microwave, online heating, could be oven. All those can be used. And the main thing really happen here is the filling line or packaging line. If product become heterogeneous, like there's a dal and there's a chawal and there's a khichdi or something, those sort of, then packaging become very specific. This can be done manually to start with. You can actually take a spoon and actually fill in a pouches. You can start with manually with that. But if your numbers are very high, if your volumes are absolutely high, then you can actually go for those filling machine. Sometimes we can even go for some manual and some filling machine. When we were working on one of the projects, we found that the product becomes so heterogeneous that we were actually adding some liquid on the top to ensure this become really a complete product sort of thing. Once we do all those things, what we really need, the heart of the equipment, we need a retort or a sterilizer, where we actually process this product at the high temperature. It usually goes from 110 to 120 degrees centigrade for 5 minutes to 20 minutes, depending on the product pH, product composition, the solid component, the thermal conductivity, thermal diffusivity of the food material. So, but by and large, we need this retort like a machine where we can process all those things. Right? So these and these are not very expensive. The amount here looking like, because I'm talking about specific size. If you want to start with a smaller size, you can actually have a smaller retorts. Right? If you remember, like in our microbiology, we have a retort, we have autoclave. Even those can be used to start with to do your trials. Correct? So basis the volume, we can actually design the machines. So next slide. Right? So so back. One sit back. So again, you look at the entire process or thing happening. Now this is, if you go for ready-made chapati machines, for example, we have a khakra machine, very popular these days. We have tortilla machines, chapati machines. I mean, I'm sure when I go to most of the temples, maybe Shirdi or Tirupati, we see these machines there, right? So they are not very, they were like one time they were elite machine, but they are available like very easily now, right? So these machines can be installed at your place, where we can make a tortilla, we make a roti, or making all other things can be made here, right? Then we have IQ machines. IQ machines are expensive, so unless you want to be in that line, we can think of IQ. But those are very high-end machines because the temperature goes to frozen. We're talking about minus 45 temperature we are referring to in entire processing. But these machines are also possible, right? Yeah. So next slide. So again, sir, just want to talk about things. What is the positive? What is the negative for me? Let's understand. We are putting a heart here, putting our hard-earned money here. So there, yes, the product is very convenient. The category is very convenient. It's a convenience category. We'll be growing further. More and more disposable income we're gonna have. More and more people are gonna work. We have more convenience, more accessibility. So this category will surely be grown. Okay, now what could be a negative side? People talk about the healthy and unhealthy, so we can decide minimally process to a complex process. We talk about supply chain, what place we are. Are we referring to really like minimally processed, so talking about supply chain here, or are we talking about long shelf life, so we going for RTE product? And cost effective, they are cost effective provided what value addition you want to create in the product. So we consider all those things, do a quick SWOT, and see where we want to be. Yeah. So next slide. Yeah. So this is the very broadly category. The only thing I want to share with you, the category is going 11% by CGR. So this is gonna be a good potential business. So yeah, we can go on next, sir. Let's quickly touch base on dairy industry, because dairy and food always go hand in hand. Because all agri-processors always talk about the dairy. Yeah. So next. So again, I want to talk about the dairy in two different way. I mean, I'm looking a little differently here. Being a startup, we always always think about whether we want to go very conventional way, or we want to do some disruptive innovations. So when I say conventional way, we can talk about, you know it, right? We're talking about the milk, we're talking about the dahi and lassi and charge and blah 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 blah, all conventional dairy products. But am I making money there, or I'm getting only volume there? So as a startup, sometime what different idea, we look at some disruptive innovations possible or not possible. So we go in those directions. So next slide, sir. So let's see how can be disruptive innovations. So let's say an example of ice cream. No, ice cream look very easy category. You can actually sell an ice cream right from a 10 rupees to, you can see the ice cream up to 300 rupees a scoop. You can see the ice cream. But let's see what disruptive innovation can I do? Can I really make an ice cream which is low fat, a low sugar, a low calorie? It could be high protein, could be high fiber. No, could be some more additional ingredient can I add and make it more functional? Can I make a probiotic, a prebiotic? Can I add those things? Or any herbs can I add in? Can I ashwagandha in it and eat my ice cream, right? So all those possible things we can talk about the ice cream. This is disruptive innovations. So where entire people talking about vanilla flavor ice cream or strawberry flavor ice cream or those new flavors ice cream, I'm suddenly talking about an healthy version of ice cream. So
Ritesh sir, sorry to interrupt you, but if you can summarize your presentation in next 2 minutes, will
sure,
help, sir.
sure. The same go for the milkshake. We can go for a fruit milkshake. We can go on protein-based milkshakes, right? Which are disruptive innovations. So next. Right. This again, similarly, when validation we can happen, right? What we can do, and we go on validation, we can talk about the plant-based product, we can about plant-based milkshake, we can about high protein milkshakes. This all validation we can do in a product, in a same facility, in the same process. Yeah, next, sir. Yeah, these are the all basic equipments are available these days, which can be skid mounted, can we go right from a 20 liters to 200 liters to 2 lakh liters, we can do like in a skid mounted these days. So next. Yeah. Touching base on bakery very quickly, I just thought bakery is a good idea because bakery is very low hanging for everyone, and there could always be a gap for a good product in a bakery, and anyone want to have a local bakery for them. So it's always good to have bakery products. So next. Yeah. So again, I'm talking about here cookie an example. This can take or any other example. So we can have a millet-based cookies. We're talking on millet these days. We can have protein cookies. We can talk of functional cookies. So everything possible. So next. So how we have cookies, we can have all the similar product in these categories, right? So what I'm really want to say in bakery, we have ingredients, could be a millet, could be a jaggery, could be a sprouted one, could be oats one. I can add some function here, a protein function, fortification, vitamin D, ashwagandha, brahmi, all we can add it here. We can have no negatives, no trans fat, no other negative things, and we can healthy product out of this. So next. So we can similarly we can do for every product. Now what is easy for me in bakery? Very low capex. I can start with very low capex, very low distribution cost. We can start with. It's a good volume, good impulse buying. We can get good shelf life in a bakery. So again, good business to start, and we can do some disruptive innovations here also in bakery. So next. That's it. So these are my coordinates. Reach me anytime, anywhere, any concerns you have. We are love to support you and love to help you whatever we can.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much, Ritesh, sir. In fact, I must say, you started your presentation from very basic, like basic packaging towards very advanced technologies that may be the RTE or RTC, which is very demanding nowadays. So you talked about mainly the machineries which required and the broader areas where the opportunities being there for the starters. Definitely, they will have some questions. So I request to participants, put your questions in the chat box. We will take it up after the second speakers. And the one thing which you mentioned very well, sir, that the SWOT analysis, yeah, of course, before we start with any business, we need to do this exercise to do with this any businesses. So we'll come up with questions after the second speaker. So now request to my colleague Anupam to introduce our second speaker.
Sure. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Amit. So for the second half of the webinar, we have with us Dr. Nilesh Amritkar, sir, who is the Managing Director, EnviroCare Labs. Dr. Nilesh has over the past 2 decades been involved in developing one of India's top environment and food testing labs, had a wonderful experience in establishing accreditation process and system as per ISO 17025 and ISO 17043, and coordinating with different regulating bodies in India such as MoE&FW, NCC, FSSAI, BIS, EIC, APIDA, and EGMARC. PhD in microbiology from the Food Information Department of UDCT Mumbai, and currently Managing Director at EnviroCare Labs. Technical writing is a passion and have a few publications, national as well as international journals. Some of his blogs are on LinkedIn page. He likes to travel the globe, explore the world, understand people, their culture, and respective. He has also representing the testing, inspection, and certification industry at various FSSAI, FDA committees, and was fortunate to be national level resource person at FSSAI for POSTAC training programs, FSMS for catering, Orange Book for workplace food safety. As a master trainer with FSSAI, it was a great learning to train more than 1,000 FSSO across India. With a firm belief that knowledge is the power, he has initiated 1-year IGNU postgraduate diploma in food safety and quality management and EnviroCare Center for Continual Education and Research. With this brief introduction, I'd like to hand over the stage to sir. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you so
Nilesh,
much.
sir, can you hear us?
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, you're audible, sir.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. The organization managed CIA to really host us for having a heart-to-heart talk with the participants. I can see that there are more than 100 participants in this program, and that is really very encouraging, and especially considering that it is 155th program, and in today's world of online sessions, the number of participants above 100, that means this program has really catered to the needs of the participants. So compliments to all of you. I would like to have you allow me to share my screen. Yeah, okay.
Yes, sir. Now you can share the screen. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, your screen is visible, sir. Yes. Yeah, good to go, sir.
Good to go? Yeah. So I will be speaking on the topic food testing for agri-startups, and the overall topic though is related to food processing. I think a lot of people would have spoken, and I think Ritesh did a fantastic job as always. It's a pleasure to hear Ritesh speak on the various aspects of food technology, food engineering, and the innovations that are happening in new product developments. And I have witnessed his products being developed in the market, or he developing the products for the market, and we happen to do the quality testing part of his product. So very nice, Ritesh. Thank you so much for the insights.
Thank you.
And I would be speaking about this food testing as part of my role as AFSTI president for 2024 and managing director at EnviroCare Lab. So as I move forward to okay. I would like to briefly introduce my organization, which is called as the Association of Food Scientists and Technologists. I would urge all the participants over here, those who have background in food sciences, agriculture, food technology, even related to food, they are graduates, they are most welcome to join this organization, which actually gives a very deep insights into how do we really work in the areas of food science and technology, right from regulatory bodies to academics to even food business operations. A wide range of people are participants, and it was established in 1957, headquartered in the Mysore CSIR CFTRI by Professor V. Subramaniam, and more than 4,500 members, 40 plus chapters across India. And I will be heading this organization for the 2024 presidential year. And I think I would also like to inform you that I've been the past president of AFSTI Mumbai chapter, which Ritesh is also the member. Talking about my company, EnviroCare Labs, we are into testing services. It is India's first IGBC green building interiors, platinum rated in 2020. and we deal with various aspects of food testing. So whatever food is being produced by the food manufacturers using the various technologies and the skill sets in new product development, we actually certify those foods for their compliances to the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, as well as if it is for export to the exporting country requirement. So we are an import and export control laboratory for Government of India, and we work very closely with in developing the regulations for the quality and safety parameters for the various foods that are being produced. It may be raw produce, it may be fresh produce, it may be semi-processed, it may be completely processed foods. And as you know, the Food Safety Act has the whole gamut of food business operations, right from storage, relabeling, marketing to distribution and production. So likewise, in the food ecosystem also, there is a complete change from the farmers who grow the produce to the processing plants, and then to the retail distribution, finally ending in the consumer's hands and mouth. So we actually work with the detailing of the chemical contaminants, biological contaminants, physical contaminants, the additives that are added, the nutritional labeling. We help determine the shelf life of the food that is being processed so that it is safe for the consumers. We help with sensory evaluation. Of course, Ritesh is part of that sensory evaluation team that we have. And then we do food adulteration tests, which are the basic test as per the earlier Food Safety Act of the FDA. And now with the act being more scientifically processed further, we have the requirements for GMOs, we have the requirements for allergens, and also the packaging material that is used in the industry for this food processing needs to meet certain requirements. So many more things we do in the laboratory. Apart from this, we have the laboratory which determines the safety of the food exports. We do container and rack inspections for the food commodities such as soya to cotton. Not exactly cotton doesn't come under food, but fresh fruits and vegetables, peanuts, spices. A lot of agri commodities go from India to Middle East to Africa to Europe and American markets, even to the SAARC countries and Indonesia, China, Russia. So we do this on-site spot analysis at the ports, shipment and pre-shipment sampling. We help the farmers with the organic food as per Jaivik Bharat guidelines, egg mark inspections and certifications by doing the pesticide, GMO toxins, residues and water as per the EC norms, that is the European Commission norms. Now, before we go into further details into question and answers, I would like to have few slides shown across to you, which I have tried to compile the regulations that are there, the Food Safety Acts and Regulations of 2011 into few slides. And I will quickly move into these slides, which talks about why we have to do the analysis, why is it mandatory, under which clause it is mandatory for any food business operator to do his food samples to be tested from a NABL accredited and a FSSAI notified laboratory. So the conditions of license, there is Annexure 2 and Clause 8 and 16, which talks about the chemical and bacteriological analysis of water, which is used as an ingredient, and it very clearly specifies that the water needs to be picked up or sampled by an authorized representative of the lab. You just can't send the sample to the lab and get it tested, because that gets into your license annexures. Pesticide report for the water that is being used in manufacturing, especially when it is a packaged drinking water or a packaged mineral water. Clause 9, which talks about the testing of the raw material that is being used for processing your food products. So it might be spices, or it might be food additives, it might be the major ingredients that are used like flour or milk or soya or whatever the major ingredients that are used, all need to have a minimum criteria of quality as per the Food Product Standards, Chapter 2 of the regulations. Clause number 12, it very clearly states that every food business operator in the country needs to do sorry, there are some questions coming in. I will take the questions later. Otherwise, I will get deviated from what I want to say. Yeah. So every food business operator needs to undertake a complete microbiological and chemical safety analysis of each and every food that they are manufacturing at least once in 6 months, and based on the historical data and the risk assessment of their production, their actual product, whether it is a high risk product or a low risk category product, they need to increase the monitoring requirement as per that food product. And they have to do it only from NABL accredited laboratory and FSSAI notified laboratory. That too, the lab which will have a food analyst, a notified food analyst working with that lab. There are out of 300 laboratories in the country which are FSSAI notified, only 70 labs in the country are having food analysts. So while choosing a laboratory, it is very important that you ask the laboratory whether they have food analyst working with them, notified, gazette notified food analyst working with them. The other conditions of license, clause number 4, if you are a vegetable oil or edible oil manufacturer, you should have your own laboratory facility for basic on-site testing, which will give easy access to the quality determination of the oil that is coming in and going out of your premises. Then there is schedule 4 part 2 of your licensing regulations, which talks about that you need to maintain hygiene and that needs to be monitored on a very regular basis. If you don't have an internal laboratory, you need to send your regular samples also to an accredited laboratory, but they have emphasized on the fact that the manufacturer or the food business operator needs to maintain their hygiene and their safety and quality of their food that is being produced in their company. Clause number 8, it talks about few things such as potable water, air quality, ventilation, packaging material, cleanliness and maintenance, and personal hygiene. So this can be actually evaluated using indoor air quality monitoring, doing a microbiological air quality measurements, doing swabs which would determine how clean or how hygienically the food production area is being maintained. The food handlers, how clean they are when as a part of their personal hygiene. The swab will determine their hygienic conditions. So there are hygiene microbiological parameters prescribed in Annexure B of the food regulation, which talks about table 1A, 2A, 3A. So the A category of table talks about the hygiene set of parameters, which talks about total bacterial count, yeast and mold count. It talks about coliforms majorly, and then the table B talks about the pathogens which are like listeria or salmonella, very specific to the kind of food product that is being processed in that plant. So if it is spices, salmonella is mandatory. If it is milk and milk products or ice cream, then listeria also is mandatory. So likewise, there are mandatory parameters. For infant food, then Enterobacteria sakazaki is mandatory. If it is a meat and meat products, then Clostridium and Campylobacter are mandatory. So likewise, the Appendix B talks about the microbiological part. So I mentioned about the food product standard, chapter 2 of the food regulations, and they have categorized into 15 different sections, and overall around 300 categories and subcategories of products are being added. In fact, almost every month, every couple of months, FSSAI is coming up with specifications for subcategories of food, so that there is more standardization across the length and breadth of the country. Apart from the chapter 2, there are certain other regulations also, which we have put it in the further slides, which talks about pesticide residues, heavy metals, veterinary drug residues, mycotoxins, naturally occurring toxic substances, and as I mentioned about Appendix B, microbiological standards, and then there is Appendix A, which is about food additives. So you require very high-end instruments to actually analyze these contaminant residues and toxins. So if you want to have your agriculture produce as for exports, it needs to meet the very stringent requirements of European Union, or for that matter any country to which your product is getting exported, for which you require LC-MS-MS, GC-MS-MS, you require very high-end ICP-MS-MS for doing this analysis. And I would like to stress over here that it is not here only NABL accredited or FSSAI notified lab, but it also would require recognition from EIC, that is Export Inspection Council and Agency, agriculture produced export development agency, that is APIDA. All these would be mandated because they are the organizations coming under Ministry of Commerce and Ministry for Exports, which are actually looking for India's export development. I did talk about this hygiene parameters and safety parameters earlier. So for doing this, you can have very traditional culture-based methods, which takes about 4 days, 5 days of test, or you can go in for rapid tests, which are slightly costlier, but it will give you results within 24 hours or 48 hours, which will help you very significantly in your supply chain. Import regulations of 2017, the initial regulations were of 2011, but with the kind of experience that FSSAI got at the ports, they changed the regulations, modified these regulations in 2017, and now there are very clear-cut guidelines on whatever is coming into the country. As so some of your agri entrepreneurs over here may have to import certain agriculture produce products, ingredients from other countries, and then they need to meet the requirements of these import regulations. Fortification of foods, it is mandatory for few products like rice, milk, flour, salt. These are mandate oil. These are the 5 categories of products which the government of India has made it mandatory that or encourage the food business operators to mandatorily fortify them with various vitamins or minerals as macronutrients or micronutrients, for which the purity criteria of micronutrients, we need to follow the Codex guidelines. Packaging regulations, I did made a passing reference to this. We need to follow the BIS standards, and more importantly, this additional things came up in 2018, which talks about leaching of the heavy metals from the plastic packaging material, leaching of volatile organic carbons, leaching of phthalates from these plastic material into the food product. So if it is a pickle sample, a pickle product, or a jam jelly to be packed in a plastic bag or in a glass bottle, we actually need to go with the IS specifications. Plus, we need to have an analytical data which would help us to prove that there is actually no contamination happening because of the packaging material that is being used. So Ritesh did mention about something in bakery, confectionaries, and today a lot of people are doing cakes, confectionaries at home, and they are putting up various colors. They are putting up various photographs on these cakes, and we need to be very careful on what kind of volatiles are being used for making this colored dissolvable, so that we would be able to freely use it. The best way, of course, is to use the natural colors, which are the food grade colors and coming from natural sources of fruits and vegetables.
Nilesh sir, sorry to interrupt you, but if you can finish your presentation in next 2 minutes.
Yeah, so I can just leave this presentation across to you. There is a labeling regulation, then there is organic food regulations for the agriculture produce. There are additional requirements like GMO and allergens to be done. Lastly, I would like to say that to all the participants over here, that please have open mind. Try to help each one of us, each other, so that we all grow together. Ritesh rightly pointed out, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas is being very much highlighted by the Indian government, our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. And this is something which I have written: what one knows is finite, but what one can learn is infinite. So where the known ends, learning begins. So keep learning. Thank you very much, all of you, for patient hearing, and over to you for questions.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nilesh sir, and thank you for a wonderful thought at the end. Keep learning. That's the intention. We organizing the Saturday webinar every week to give learning and thought process to the budding entrepreneurs, and that's why we are not charging at all for this training. And many of you are asking about the certificates. So it's an open learning platform for you also. For that reason, we are not giving the certificates. Those who are willing to take the new knowledge, new learnings, they are joining us so regularly for this webinar. Yeah, so we'll next move forward for the next part of the webinar, that is the question and answer. I request to participants, if you have questions, put in chat box, or you can raise the hands, directly ask questions to the speakers. We will take it one by one. And I would like to summarize your session, sir. Very wonderful session, I must say. At the food safety and the testing is an integral part of the food processing industry. And you mainly talked about the different regulations, classes of the foods which requires to be tested out before we are launching a product at the market, which is very important for the safety point of view and for building your trust and the brand amongst the customers. Let's move toward the questions. Many questions are coming there, but I have taken very few questions. The speaker details I already put in the chat box so that you can reach out if you're not able to take the questions. So they will definitely try to give you the answers. So very first question is coming from the two participants, from the Satya and from the Rajendra Prasad. As Ritesh sir talked about mainly the machineries and the labs, so it is quite expensive to set up a new factory and the testing. So is there is any financial assistance there for the startups or maybe the food aspiring entrepreneurs to set up their own factory and the lab? So if you can talk about little bit about the schemes from the government and for the startups, sir.
Sure. First of all, like glad to hear that you want to set up your own manufacturing line. Wonderful to hear that. Well, there is a lot of schemes from the government. I'm not on the scheme side. I don't know much about the real-time schemes, but what I really understand, there are a lot of schemes from the government, and up to 50% sometime returns we can get from the government on any of the machines, on the plant and machineries, not on the land maybe, but plant and machineries 50% is a discount which gives them a government up to 50%. It can vary from like 10% to 50% and depend which area you belong to, like the tribal area or underdeveloped area, those industry area, and the amount can be changed like that. So a lot of schemes are available. Just look on those websites. If you want, I can connect you one-on-one with the people who work on the schemes in the government. At least Maharashtra government, we are aware of, but I'm sure this all done at central level. So certainly lot of things available. I don't know exact numbers, how much, but
Yeah,
certainly a lot of
maybe
things are
Nilesh,
I
available.
can,
Nilesh sir
yeah,
will
I
answer.
can,
Yeah.
I can give some insights into this. If I allow me to share the screen, yes, you have shared the screen, and uh, this is something which this is
Maybe
just
maybe the
yesterday's. This is
time.
just yesterday's
Nilesh, sir,
circular.
time is very short, sir. We will circulate this document if you shared with us.
Yeah, so
Share it with
this is the yesterday's circular for financial assistance, and the last date is 8th November. So if anybody is interested, you can actually apply to this scheme by the Ministry of Food Processing. This is just yesterday's thing.
Oh, super.
Great, sir. Great, sir. Thank you. We'll be definitely circulating this document with the registered participants and also the PPTs. Many of you are requested. We are sharing that PPT with the registered participants. So don't be worried about that. But apart from that, many schemes are there. You can visit to MoFP side. There you will get the regular updates. Even for the agri startups, managers also running the RKVY-RAFTAAR scheme program, under which the innovative food startups will get a chance of funding up to 25 lakhs to 5 lakh in that range. And many food challenge programs also coming, so that way you will get the financial assistance. Coming to the next question, which is asked by the Kiran Patil sir, is one of the startup from the manage, and they are working with Bengan Bharta. You might be known, which is popular from the Jalgaon. So he wants
Right.
to know, sir, for the fresh minimal processing, how far vacuum cooling is being used in India, and what kind of minimum scale is advisable for vacuum cooling technology in a primary food and the vegetables processing parts, sir. So maybe
No,
Ritesh, sir,
vacuum cooling will be little expensive. The different setup is required, but they can certainly use for the blast chiller. That's good enough for thing. Don't even go for blast freezer. Blast chiller are good enough for doing it. They must be cheaper than the vacuum cooling. Vacuum is more effective, certainly more effective, but will be little expensive because of the design and the process. But blast chiller are much easier.
Yeah, I think Kiran, you got the answer, or you can connect with Ritesh sir also. The details also I put it. If you want further more information, you can contact him. There is one question is coming from the Shailesh. He raised his hand. So I'm just unmuting him. Shailesh, you can ask question directly to the speaker.
Yeah, I'm Silas speaking. Can you hear me?
Yes,
can
sir.
hear you.
Ask question.
Yeah, sir. Actually, I have a question regarding the probiotic products, regarding the testing of the probiotic products. Under which clause, under which section those are covered? Because I'm a millet-based startup from Hyderabad who is working on a millet-based probiotic drink. But now the product is ready, but I am confused under which category, under which guidelines should I apply for the license? Because being having said that probiotic drink, it is already rich in the probiotic bacteria, apart from the other bacteria.
Sure.
Maybe
Ritesh, you want to
Shailesh,
answer that?
No, you answer, Nilesh.
Okay. So just refer to the nutraceutical guidelines where there are around 7 appendix that they have given in that. It's about almost 100-page document, and they have covered what kind of things can be added and what are the parameters that need to be done. Primarily, just to as a thumb rule, you need to consider all the safety parameters, all the quality parameters as per the vertical standard, and also sorry, as per the horizontal standard, and also the specification with respect to the counts of the bacteria that would be there in your probiotic. So that's just the basic things that needs to be done.
I hope Shailesh, you got the answer. If you want to more insights, you can contact Dr. Nilesh sir also. The
Shailesh,
details
just
are
to add, there are different probiotics are used in FSSAI. Just ensure you are one of those. Huh? There's some 10 different species are allowed for probiotics. Ensure you are using those one.
Yeah, Ritesh, I hope you have got the more insights on that. We'll take up one more question is asked by the Mr. Himanshu. Is sir, he's looking to set up the bakery or the snack product setup. So he wants to know that where he can able to find out the machineries in a small capacity, in a small scale, and what is the best way to identify the suppliers for this machinery, sir.
So these are available across the cities. So if you want a bigger machine, you can go to Rajkot, Coimbatore, which part of the India you belong to. But every district place will have this machinery set up these days. Right? I'm not saying I don't tell them to come to Mumbai and buy the machines. They are available in every small district, these places. And even go on India Mart, they can set a lot of people who are selling these machines. Easily available. Just few things they need to consider for buying machine. That just check the material is SS304 at least, all the contact parts, if not the non-contact parts. Just see those things. Just see the functioning of the machine, the ease of cleaning of the machine. Those things are important. Otherwise, it's very, very standard format for the bakery machines these days. If you Google, you can find out. As simple.
Himanshu, I think you got the answer. Can you hear me? You raised the hand.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to know, like, is there a pilot setup, like you showed in your PPT? You had a pilot setup. So I just want to know not the individual machine, but the entire pilot setup on a skid mounted at a small scale level. That's what I want to know.
Certainly. So if you look at something more like a beverage or like a dairy or a beverage, those are very, very easy to do it because we flow either the water or either the milk or whatever the juice we can flow. So they are skid mounted and work in a like per liter basis, like 200 liters, 500 liters per hour. To start with. But when you talk about the snacking becomes a little more complex. So you have to line for individual machines. So for example, you say you want to make a bar, there could be line for a bar. If you say you want to make an chips, for example, there could be line for only for chips. And maybe chips like product can be made. Or if you want to do extrusion, you can have extrusion line. So the line will vary with the type of the product. But in the beverage, you can have single line and you can do both the things. So when you say and can bakery an example, if you want to set up a line only for the cakes, There's a line possible. So you can do a mixing at one level, and then you can do filling, or you can, and maybe a cupcake, other thing you can filling by other machines. It's still possible. But you can do only those products. The one which is filling the cupcake cannot do a cookie then, you know. So and vice versa. So you'll have a specific line for a specific type of the products.
Yeah, I hope Himanshu you got the answer. We'll go to the next question. So there are some questions are coming related to the food analysis part, sir. So Dr. Nilesh sir has already shared the website details. So you'll find out what type of test being done or required for the different sort of products, and the charges, everything details will be available in his website. So you will get the details from him also, and their email ID also we have put it in the chat box. So you will reach to him. We'll take the time is running, but we'll take one more last question. His hand is raised by the Kisan Sathi, and then we'll come to the end this program webinar. Kisan Sathi has raised his hand. Can you hear me,
Hello.
sir? Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, you can ask the question.
Yeah. Actually, our startup is Kisan Sathi, and we work with farmer producer companies in 3 states: Karnataka, Andhra, and Odisha. So we are also helping them on market linkage of their fruits and vegetable and other grains, whatever their raw material. Plus, now we are also going for a validation of some of the commodities for FPO. So in those cases, Mataji, would we helpful? Matlab, you will be able to support us in terms of validation and for consulting part for the FPOs.
We can take this offline, whatever you want, but we are there to support you. Very, very simple. Whatever you need, we can support you. Very candidly, if I can do it, I love to do it. If I can't do it, I will tell you people who can do for you. Certainly. If you want some local people from Bangalore or Andhra, we can even connect with our network in those regions. Even Orissa, we can connect those people in those regions.
Sure, definitely. So yeah, we are sharing the details of the mentors as well for the participants so that they can reach out. Even few questions are still we are not able to take out due to the time constraints. So you can write your queries and questions to them. So they will definitely try to answer your questions. So with this, actually, we are coming to the end. But before that, I request to the participants, kindly visit our website and follow our social media pages, where you will find the regular updates about our training programs, which are might be helpful to you. So currently, we're accepting applications for the digital marketing program. So that applications are open. You can register till 30th of September is the last date. And for regular updates related to the startup ecosystem, new schemes, funding related schemes, we are posting in the social media. So do follow our pages and visit our website for regular updates. And I would say must be thank you to you all for patiently listening to our speakers and putting your questions. Please provide us the feedback of the today's webinar. We will happy to get your insights from your side. And if you want to hear new topics as well in future, we will take it well. So thanks once again, and thank you for the speakers for your wonderful session. Sarvanan sir for being there for full session. Thank you so much, and the participants and my entire team. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nilesh sir and Ritesh. It's a wonderful session. Thank you very much. Yeah, both of you joining with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.